Good afternoon, Madam Chairwoman and distinguished members of the subcommittee. I greatly appreciate the chance to talk with you today about the critical role that agriculture and forestry can play in moving our nation and the world to a low-carbon future. Last August, I attended a workshop in Des Moines organized by the American Farmland Trust, the Farm Foundation, and the Natural Resources Defense Council. This event brought together 27 farmers to share their views on the market opportunities of a low-carbon economy. I was struck by a widespread recognition of the potential this holds. One participant summed up the mood at this meeting by saying, "Agriculture will be in a carbon-constrained world. This is one way we can share costs and spread societal benefits. Agriculture is a system and it is involved." Overall, the strong message from this meeting was that crop and livestock producers want to be engaged in a climate change solution, designing its policies and harvesting its benefits. These benefits are hard to ignore. Carbon promises to be a bumper crop for U.S. agriculture and forestry if we put the right policies in place to reward the farming, forestry, and ranching practices that reduce greenhouse gas emissions. The rewards, according to an analysis of legislation similar to the Lieberman-Warner Climate Security Act, could total more than $8 billion a year for American farmers alone. This is more than the value of the entire U.S. wheat crop. So this is a very significant amount. My testimony today will cover 3 key points. First, our farms and forests have enormous potential to deliver major environmental benefits and provide a crucial form of cost control as we move to a low-carbon economy. Second, a framework of different quality assurances can safeguard the value of investments in carbon-friendly forestry and farming practices. Lastly, a system that credits reductions in tropical deforestation is a major opportunity to control costs in a cap-and-trade system. But the chances to do this are literally vanishing as we speak. This is an opportunity we can't afford to miss to engage key developing nations in the global effort to control greenhouse gases. To begin, agriculture and forestry activities have great potential to provide cost-effective climate solutions that deliver other environmental benefits as well, as we've already heard. Our vast rural land base is one of our great national assets. Climate-friendly agricultural and forestry practices can reduce emissions of gases that cause climate change, and it can also actually remove these gases from the atmosphere. Whether in agriculture, forestry, or rangeland management, our rural economies possess tremendous potential for growth in a new industry of climate solutions. By driving changes in land use and land management practices, markets for offsets can also create substantial public benefits in addition to climate change mitigation. For example, practices that conserve soils and reduce fertilizer inputs would reduce the amount of pollution entering our waterways. A well-designed offset program will also provide major new opportunities for American entrepreneurship, because there will be money to be made by finding new and better ways to sequester carbon and otherwise reduce emissions from uncapped sectors. A well-designed offset program will stimulate technical research and business innovation in America's rural economies. The potential impact of carbon-friendly changes in land use practices also extends far beyond our borders. The destruction of forests in the tropics emits massive amounts of carbon dioxide, approximately 20% of global greenhouse gas emissions. This is roughly as much each year as all the CO2 emitted by all the fossil energy consumed in the United States. When forest carbon emissions are included, the 3rd and 4th larger emitters of greenhouse gases in the world are Indonesia and Brazil, respectively. We have an opportunity to reap the benefits of these low-cost, high-value emissions reductions through recognition of tropical forest protection activities in our own carbon market. It is critical that we seize these opportunities not only because of the climate benefits, but also because of the tremendous impact agriculture and forestry offsets can have on controlling the cost of a transition to a low-carbon economy. Offsets broaden the set of available options for complying with the requirements of climate policy by allowing companies greater flexibility to make emissions reductions wherever they are cheapest across both the economic and physical landscape. Where there is potential to bank allowances for use in future periods, in addition, offsets allow companies to build up reserves of low-cost abatement solutions that can serve as a buffer against unexpected swings in future allowance prices. Agriculture offsets are among the lowest cost of all the land use options, and several analyses have shown that these offsets will be the low-hanging fruit. Economic analyses have confirmed the cost mitigating value of both agriculture and forestry offsets. My second point is that a system of quality assurances built into a cap and trade program can substantially mitigate concerns over offset quality. An offset program can provide real reductions in greenhouse gas emissions only if the offsets represent real reductions that are measurable, verifiable, and enforceable. In my written testimony, I describe a two-part framework of options to meet the need for quality assurances, both at the scale of individual projects and at the level of the overall program. Firstly, the prime example is right here of all the experience that already exists on ensuring quality at the project level. This is a manual published last year by Duke's Nicholas Institute for Environmental Policy Solutions, along with EDF and a panel of highly regarded scientists. A range of approaches should also be considered to ensure quality while providing market incentives for offsets. For example, an enhanced national and regional accounting system could be used periodically to compare expected performance from a sector's offsets to estimated changes in greenhouse gases measured in a national inventory for that sector. In my written testimony, I also describe a potential true-up process for the forestry sector that could permit the use of improved information on changes in land use practices to assess and, if necessary, adjust the parameters of the offset program. My final point is that policymakers have a time-limited opportunity to simultaneously engage developing nations and reap enormous greenhouse gas benefits through market incentives to reduce tropical deforestation. My written testimony describes results from a modeling exercise we conducted at EDF that shows that inclusion of tropical forest credits can substantially reduce the overall cost of a U.S. cap and trade program, similar to the version of S2191 that came out of committee. Opening America's carbon market to these international forest tons would also create a model for engaging developing countries broadly in solving the climate problem. On the other hand, if the world waits a decade or two to create powerful incentives for compensating those who protect tropical forests, the forests and the approximately 300 billion tons of carbon they contain will already be gone. In short, the benefits of domestic agricultural and forest offsets, as well as international forest carbon credits, should not be overlooked. They offer an immediate opportunity to reduce emissions at home and abroad, and with the right rules and standards, they can substantially shrink compliance costs without compromising the integrity of a strict emissions cap. Thank you for your attention. I look forward to your questions.